You spoke louder. They listened less. You raised your voice in the meeting. You explained yourself again. You repeated what you said yesterday because no one seemed to hear it the first time, and the room kept moving in its own direction, without you. So you tried harder. You added confidence to your tone. You took up more space at the table. You posted more, said more, justified more. You sharpened your sentences. You learned the body language. You read the books about presence. And somehow the louder you became, the smaller your authority felt. There's a quiet suspicion you don't say out loud. The kind of thought that surfaces only when the day is finally over and the noise of your own voice has stopped echoing back at you. The suspicion that maybe leadership is not what you've been performing. That maybe the people you most respect, the ones who barely speak, the ones who walk into a room and the temperature changes, know something you've spent your whole career trying to outrun. What if leadership was never about being heard? What if everything you've been working on, the volume, the posture, the relentless self-promotion, was the exact opposite of what real authority looks like? 600 miles north of where you are right now, in a forest most humans will never enter, a wolf moves. He does not howl to announce himself. He does not posture. He does not perform. There is no audience for him to play to, only snow, only wind, only the silent calculus of survival. The wolf was designed for a world where noise is weakness, where every unnecessary sound is a meal lost, a position betrayed, a life cut short by something faster, hungrier or older than he is. Wildlife biologist David Mech, who studied wolves longer than almost anyone alive, found something that quietly broke the alpha male cliché forever. In a wolf pack, the leader is not the loudest. He is not the most aggressive. He is not the most physically dominant. He is the most composed. A wolf pack can travel 30 miles in a single night across territory that would kill a human in hours. They coordinate a hunt across a frozen lake. They resolve internal conflict between half a dozen adults, sometimes life and death conflict, almost entirely without sound. They use posture, they use direction, they use pause, they use a single glance held for half a second longer than necessary. A communication system so precise, so layered, so ancient, that humans, with all our words, still cannot fully replicate it. The wolf knows what you've forgotten. So what does he know? 5 things, and every one of them rewires what you think leadership is. Lesson 1. Authority is felt before it is heard. When a wolf with real rank enters a tense moment in the pack, the temperature drops. Other wolves don't escalate, they settle. Tails lower a fraction of an inch. Ears soften, shoulders unclench. The body of the group reorganizes itself around a presence without a single sound being made. The leader hasn't done anything visible. He has simply arrived. This is the part most humans get backwards. You think authority is something you broadcast. You think the loudest, most assertive voice in the room is the one in charge. You think presence means filling the air with yourself. But watch carefully the next time a truly secure leader walks into a room. The room calms down, people stop performing, the frequency drops. Conversations that were rising in pitch suddenly find their floor again. A leader who has to raise the temperature of the room to be felt is not a leader. He is a salesman of himself, working a crowd of one. The wolf does not sell his authority, he carries it, and the pack arranges itself around weight, not volume. Around density, not display. If you have to keep proving you're the leader, ask yourself quietly, who in your life is actually leading right now? Lesson 2. Influence is the byproduct of being undeniable. Mirror moment. A wolf does not wake up and ask himself, today, will the pack believe in me? He does not check in with the group for validation. He does not measure his standing in the eyes of others. He simply does what he does. Track, protect, decide, withstand the cold, return, and the pack follows because what he does is undeniable. Seneca, almost 2,000 years ago, wrote to a friend in his letters, "No man can lead an army well who has not first commanded himself." Not louder, not bigger, not more visible. Commanded, inwardly, quietly. The kind of self-command that doesn't need an audience because it never had one. The kind that was built in the dark, before anyone was watching, before anyone knew his name. The wolf has already done that work every day of his life, in the wind, in the snow, in temperatures that would kill most living things, with no witnesses, with no applause, with no one to tell him he was doing it right. You, on the other hand, have been told that influence is a thing you build with content, with words, with optimized posture, with the right photograph, with a louder room. But the pack, your pack, the real one, the people who would actually follow you into something hard, they don't follow your words. They don't follow your titles. They follow your scars. They follow what you carry when no one is watching. They follow the cost you have paid that they can sense without you ever having to mention it. So ask yourself, while no one is listening, what do you carry when no one is watching? Lesson 3. Stop trying to make them listen. Lesson break inversion. The wolf makes them watch. Command is not a broadcast. Command is a gravity. The wolf bends the pack around him not by what he says almost nothing, but by where he moves, when he pauses, what he chooses to ignore, what he chooses to face. The pack reads him the way you read a sentence. Every shift of his shoulder means something. Every direction he turns is a paragraph. You've been working on your voice. The wolf has been working on his weight. If you want to be followed, stop talking. Start moving with so much intention that someone, somewhere in your life, finally looks up and asks, "Where is he going? I want to see." That is gravity. That is the only thing you cannot fake. Lesson 4. The loudest dog is always behind a fence. Lightning lesson. Loudness is the sound of confinement. It is the sound of an animal that cannot reach what it is barking at. The wolf does not bark. The wolf is free. If you are loud, ask yourself what fence you are barking through and who put it there. Lesson 5. The strongest presence walks behind. There is a detail in wolf pack movement that almost every nature documentary gets wrong. When a pack travels through deep snow across hard territory on a long migration or hunt, the leader often walks at the back of the line, not the front. The front position is given to the weakest, the youngest, the wounded, the elderly. They set the pace the group can actually survive. The leader walks behind them. From the rear, he sees everything. He counts everyone. He notices who is limping, who is falling behind, who is faltering, who is about to break. He carries the line, not from the head, but from the shoulder. We have been taught the opposite. We have been taught that the leader is the one in front of the camera, in front of the room, in front of the credit, the one who arrives first and is photographed first. But the wolf knows something we forgot the moment we started building stages and microphones. If you want the group to survive, you do not lead by going first. You lead by making sure no one is left behind. The strongest presence leaves tracks, not noise. And the people who follow you, really follow you, not the ones who applaud you, will only know what you carried after you are already gone. They will read your weight in your absence. They will measure your leadership by what they no longer have when you are no longer there. That is the only metric that has ever mattered. The wolf does not perform, he just is. 2 million years of design taught him that. 2 million years of cold, of hunger, of loss, of survival, refined into a body that says everything without saying anything. A pack that survives the winter is not led by the loudest wolf. It is led by the wolf whose silence carries the most information. Every glance, every pause, every shift of his shoulders means something specific. The pack has never had to wonder where the leader stands. They have never had to ask. They have only ever had to look. And here is the question that has been waiting underneath this entire conversation, the one we have been circling without naming. If the silence of the wolf carries more authority than the roar of the lion, who wrote the laws of that silence? A system this exact, this efficient, this ancient, this perfectly tuned to a world that has never forgiven a single unnecessary sound. Does it look like an accident? Or does it look like an instruction left for you, encoded in an animal you were supposed to find at exactly the moment in your life when you needed to hear it? When you feel invisible, when you raise your voice and the room does not turn, do not get louder. Walk to the back of the line. Count who is still with you. Notice who is falling behind. Move with intention. Carry what you carry without explaining it. And if no one ever names what you did, if no one ever follows you with applause, if no one ever writes your name down, remember, the wolf was never worshipped. He was only followed, quietly, by the ones who needed to survive.